I couldn't possibly do all the work that's required to do this whole project, so I've got some of my buddies that have come into town that do a very similar thing to what I do for a living, which is to build exhibits for zoos and aquariums and things. So they've decided to stop on their way to another job and give me about 3 or 4 days worth of work. It's all real highly skilled labor. They all know how to weld, they all know how to tie steel, and they all are absolute whizzes with cement, which is actually everything that this project is made of. So they've given me the weekend, and I'm just going to basically try to take as big of a step forward as I possibly can, because now it's getting to be the end of October and I'm kind of fighting the weather, so I got to try to get everything wrapped up as quickly as I can. Kind of our primary objective here today is to patch up some of the holes that we have in the barge that was donated. And now you say, you know, why would someone give you a barge with a bunch of holes in it? Well, you know, no one would really donate a barge that was still useful. So this one has actually outlived its usefulness for the bulkheading and dock building company that donated it to us. We just needed a float here for the next 3 months while we do our work and build the sculpture on top of the barge, and then we need to be able to safely transport it from the dock out to the eventual deployment site, and we need to be able to get it there safely. Taken almost a ridiculous amount of time and effort to try to get the proportions of the crab perfect. You'll see that we're using real crab models to take measurements to establish critical elevations, and then to make sure that all of our measurements are correct on the barge. Actually, after the horseshoe crab is sunk and lives underwater for a couple years, no one will probably be able to tell the difference anyway, and it will probably only be visited by about 30 or 40 people a year anyway. But it's just what we do. We can't help ourselves. We're just a little too professional about it, I think. What I've done is done an outline of a horseshoe crab, and this is what we're using as our footprint plan. This grid is a scale diagram, so this actually represents 1 foot by 1 foot section of the barge. We took the time in the preparation of the barge to go around and mark the barge with spray paint, so that we actually have transferred this grid onto the deck of the barge. Then we started to lay the mesh on the inside and on the outside of the crab, which allowed more of the detail to come out. And now the next step is we'll be mixing up cement and hand troweling it on the outside to finish and give the ultimate casing or the shell of the crab. We've actually been very fortunate with the weather we've had this fall. It's the middle of November now, it's 70 degrees out, and this is basically what we've had for the entire construction of the crab, with one exception, which was one very unseasonable snowstorm right in the middle about a week ago, where up to 18 inches of snow dumped on parts of New Jersey, but thankfully here at the coast we got very little.